Hello there, so good to have you back here. Today we'll be talking about our hair porosity, and there are three types of hair porosity. You want to know how to identify your own hair type porosity, you want to know how to go about it. Stay tuned in this video. Be right back.
Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down.
So you're welcome back, and let's go into the business of today. Hair porosity. Porosity is actually identifying how much your hair can retain moisture, how much your hair can retain moisture, and there are basically three ways to go about it that we'll be talking about today. And the first one is the floating method. And when I say floating method, what you need to do is, I've got some strands of my hair. It doesn't have to be this much, just a little is enough of your hair strands, and then get a clear bottle, either bottle or plastic, just for you to see what you are doing, and then you fill it with water. You pour in some quantity of water inside a clear bottle, and then you put your hair inside and check if your hair is going to float or your hair is going to sink inside this water. So that is what I'll be doing now. You need to get a clean water. If you can see it, it's a transparent bowl. It has to be a clean water. I don't know if you can see the strands of my hair. So now I'm going to put it inside the as you can see, this sank here. That means it's when your hair sinks like this, then you have a high porosity hair. That means your hair cuticle is very open, and so this type of hair porosity type can absorb moisture quickly, and at the same time they can release, and those moistures can as well escape out of the hair very easily. So this is how a high porosity hair will look like using the floating method. And the other way around, if your hair is if you have a low porosity hair type, it's going to float. It's going to stay on the surface of that water. And if you have a medium hair porosity, it's going to stay in inside. It's not going to sink, and it's not going to stay on the surface of the water. So that's what we have with the floating method. The second way to also detect your hair porosity is to pick a strand of your hair, something like this, and then you run your hand through it. Run your hand through the hair. If you can feel like bumps, if it's not straight, if you haven't run your hand through the hair and then you can feel some bumps, that means you can also say you have a high porosity hair, because your the cuticles of the hair porosity of the high porosity hair is actually open. That is why it can easily absorb moisture, and that is why moisture can easily leave the hair, sap out of the hair, unlike the low porosity. If you run your hand through your hair strand and it's smooth all through, that means you have a low porosity hair, and such that your cuticles are tightly sealed. The hair cuticles are not open as much as what you have in the high porosity hair type. And this for a low porosity hair, it's difficult for such a hair to absorb moisture, and they can keep moisture for a longer time than what is obtainable for a high porosity hair type. And the third test you can also do to ascertain your hair porosity type is to run your hair under running water, and mindful or be conscious of how long it took your hair to absorb all the water. You know, for a low porosity hair type, it takes a longer time before the hair absorbs the water. You see bits of water on the hair. That is what happens when you have a low porosity hair type. While for a high porosity hair type, the water absorbs the hair absorbs the water easily, and then the water or the moisture also comes out of the hair. The hair dries easily and loses moisture easily because the cuticles are open, unlike what happens in a low porosity hair type. So this fourth one is a bonus. You know, I said I was going to give out 3 tests to identify your hair porosity type. So the last one, which is the bonus, the fourth one, is for you to stay in the shower, have your bed from your head, like shower from your head, and then don't use the towel. Wait and check which one is going to dry first. Is it your body or your hair? If your body dries first before your hair, I mean the water, because you remember you're not going to use a towel, and you leave both the hair and the body dried. And if your hair dry first before your hair, then you definitely have a low porosity hair type. But if your hair dries before your body, you have a high porosity hair type. So that is that about this video. And if you want to know more about your hair type, your hair care, the best way to care for your hair, considering your hair porosity type, stay tuned and check some other videos. There's a site where you can do some tests to also ascertain your hair porosity type. So I'm going to put the link to that website in the description box, so you can just check the website, visit the website, do that test. Then you can be very, very sure of your hair porosity type that you have. Remember that your hair porosity type is what helps you to be able to what helps and guide you aright in the proper care of your hair. So you need to know what your hair porosity is, and that will help the maintenance of your hair an easy one. See you in the next video. Stay blessed, stay healthy, and don't forget to stay safe. Bye.